Welcome back. Well, at the core of the Hope Booth is the belief in healing. It's a space where individuals can find solace, guidance, and tools to navigate their mental health challenges, fostering a sense of restoration and well-being. Helping us find hope is the one, the only, Gloria Umana. Hi, Gloria.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here.
I've been following you on social media, and I'm just so impressed with everything that you do. And thank you for being here and telling everyone what you do.
Yeah.
Let's talk about first the hope and the science behind it and what it means to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So hope is pretty critical in our lives. And you know, the other day I was talking about the fact that suffering is required in the equation of hope. Where there is suffering, there is the opportunity to experience hope. You know, I think sometimes people can look at all of the pain and suffering in the world and feel overcome. But what if instead we said, hey, this is an opportunity to gain some action-oriented strength that's fueled by the belief that though everything might not be okay right now, tomorrow will be better than today. And I have the power to make that so.
Yes.
And so that's like the beauty of hope right there. And then the science behind it is the reality that if hope can be lost, then hope can be built. And if it can be built, then that means it can be learned. And so that's something we have to train ourselves in daily, to have hopeful minds, hopeful thoughts, hopeful speech, so that we can see the world in a more hope-filled way. And then also we can do the work of spreading hope everywhere we go.
Okay, should we clap for that? I feel like we should clap for that. That was beautiful, Gloria. Yes, it's so important. And why, okay, so let's talk about the Hope Booth. Why does our world need something like the Hope Booth, and how did you get that started?
Yeah, absolutely. I think back in 2020, I remember hearing the statistic that the average person living on the streets goes 3 to 6 months without being looked in the eye. I remember thinking to myself, well, every human being is worthy of being seen. And then I started seeing stories of people who were losing their life to suicide because of that feeling of invisibility, whether living on the streets or the CFO of a Fortune 500. I myself, October 29, 2011, almost lost my life to suicide as well. And I started to think about the fact that this feeling of invisibility is plaguing humanity right now. There has to be a solution that's innovative beyond running 5Ks and making t-shirts. What can we actually do to help humanity feel seen, provide help, and then make hope more accessible to people? And so that's where the idea of the Hope Booth came from. It's very innovative in approach. It's very unique and very different, but at the heart was, how do we help people feel seen? And then how do we create beacons of hope and pillars of hope in our community where the hope finds you? You don't have to go and find it. It is right there, right when you need it, and can connect you to local help and support. And you don't have to feel alone in your journey. That's the hope and the goal.
Connecting you to local help and support. And I love that you say to feel seen, because I feel at times maybe we were even trained not to look somebody in the eye who looks like, this sounds crazy, but who looks like they need help, because we don't want to embarrass them. When honestly, they probably just want to be noticed.
Absolutely.
Right? And so that is like such a turn, I feel like, in a lot of thinking, because people do want to be looked in the eye. And I think as people age, they feel like they're not noticed as much too. And my mother said that she's 76, she's vibrant, and she said, you know, people stop looking you in the eye at a certain age.
Absolutely. And it's one of the most powerful things we can do. I mean, we have science to prove that eye contact is powerful in developing connection and relationships. But we also know the truth of the matter that everyone truly at the core of their heart wants to feel seen, and the simplest thing we can do is affirm someone's dignity by looking them in the eye. And I think that's a simple thing that everyone has the capacity and ability to do. And if we can help people understand the power and beauty behind that, then I think more people will actually begin to do that. And I think it's something that if we can figure out what's the moment in my life where I felt seen and think about that every time we view others, then we're naturally going to spread it like wildfire. And that's where hope kind of comes from.
I love that. So good. Okay, how do you know that the Hope Booth works?
I'm glad you asked me that question. And I think that's something every leader probably wonders, is what I created impressive or is it impactful? And I now have a lot of data and science to prove that it's not just impressive, it's actually impactful. In the first 3 months that we had a Hope Booth installed at Pond City Market, we had 17,000 users. The average scoring of hope on our Hope meter when someone walks up to that Hope Booth is a 1, which is the lowest possible rating. At the end of the experience, we ask people to select what is your internal level of hope again. And right now there's a 73% increase in hope after just one experience. We have about 56% of the people who are accessing that support system. So that's people connecting with shelter, with food banks, with employment services. And so these are people who are actually getting the hope that they need in that moment, but then the help to sustain that hope as well. And I think that's absolutely incredible when we see the number, we hear the stories. I mean, we've got documentaries of people sharing with us how this 3-minute experience has transformed something inside of them and has given them the courage to take another day at a time. We have some people who say, I needed this hope for the day, but then we have some people who say, I needed this hope to live another day.
Wow.
And that right there is what we're after.
And okay, so I want people to know then, how can they find you? How can they get the help they need?
Absolutely. So there is a Hope Booth install right now at Pond City Market. It is right on the trestle. It's available 24/7 free of charge for anybody and everybody, which is the goal. And then from here on out, the hope and goal is to have Hope Booths installed in prisons, in hospitals, in street corners, and schools all over the globe to make hope and help accessible and free for the first time in history.
Oh, Gloria, you are, I hate to use this word because I think it's used too much, but you are truly amazing. Thank you for all that you're doing, and keep us posted on all your progress.
Absolutely.
We'll be cheering
Thank you so
on.
much.
All right, thank you so much for being here, Gloria. All right, up next, again.